My name is Lenitra Guess in the Federal Program Compliance Division of TEA. I will be presenting the webinar today. This presentation will provide a basic overview of the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program. This presentation provides general information and should not be used as an all-inclusive overview of all Title I Part D Subpart 2 statutory requirements in the Every Student Succeeds Act, referred to as ESSA, in the remaining of the program slides. There are three purposes of the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program. The funds must be used to carry out high-quality education programs to prepare children and youth for secondary school completion, training, employment, or further education. To provide activities to facilitate the transition of such children and youth from the correctional program to further education or employment, and to operate programs in local schools, including schools operated or funded by the Bureau of Indian Education for children and youth returning from correctional facilities, and programs which may serve at-risk children and youth. Title I Part D Subpart 2 allocation of funds are allocated to district and charter LEAs serving neglected and delinquent populations. Each calendar year, district and charter LEAs report counts of students being served at residential facilities for neglected and delinquent children are recorded through the eGrants SC 9000, October caseload counts of neglected and delinquent residential facilities data collection. This data is subsequently sent to USDE and utilized by their formulas when determining Title I Part A formula-based allocations to TEA for the upcoming funding year. Title I Part D Subpart 2 funds are calculated for those LEAs and charters serving 10 or more delinquent students at residential facilities for neglected and delinquent children. In calculating formula distribution, delinquent counts from eligible LEAs submitted through the eGrants SC 9000 data collection is aggregated at the TEA state level, create a statewide per pupil amount from the Title I Part D Subpart 2 grant award. The LEA's Title I Part D Subpart 2 grant amount equals its eligible delinquent count multiplied by the calculated per pupil amount. These Title I Part D Subpart 2 amounts are earmarked for serving neglected and delinquent students at reported facilities. If the LEA is not serving the facility in the current funding year or the facility is closed, funding is retained by TEA for potential transfer to LEA serving facilities that students may be located at from the prior year counts. More details on the process of determining LEA allocations may be found in the ESSA funding formula reference manual that is available in the handbooks and other guidance selection of TEA's Finance and Grants website. The TEA's SC 9000 annual survey of children in local residential facilities for the neglected and delinquent collects data from districts with eligible students and facilities. The request is sent through the Federal Fiscal and Compliance Reporting Division. It is typically due in early December of the previous year. If there is a facility that has closed or a new one to add, contact the Federal Fiscal and Compliance Reporting Division by email at compliance@tea.texas.gov. Entitlement amounts for the current school year for these and other grants are available on the Grants Administration Division webpage. Local education agencies may apply for funding through the ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant Application that is available in the eGrant system. Information on accessing the eGrant system are detailed on the TEA Secure Applications webpage. General information and a sample application are available at the TEA Grant Opportunities webpage. For detailed information, search by the grant application name. The ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant Application incorporates the LEA plan required by federal statute into the annual application for funding. These programs include the Title I Part A, Title I Part C, Title I Part D, Title II Part A, Title III Part A, and Title IV Part A. There is a list of 13 requirements for the Title I Part D Subpart 2 subgrantees. These requirements are listed in the Title I Part D Subpart 2 Program Guide and the ESSA Consolidated Program Application Handbook. The next few slides will provide a summary of each requirement that the LEA and facility must have written documentation to support. The LEA must provide a detailed description of the program. It must provide a description of formal agreements between the LEA and correctional facilities and alternative school programs. It must also provide a description of coordination with facilities working with delinquent children and youth, ensuring their participation in comparable local school education programs. The LEA must provide a description of programs to facilitate successful transition of children and youth returning from correctional facilities and provide the type of services offered. In addition, they must provide a description of the characteristics such as learning difficulties, substance abuse programs, and other special needs of the children and youth returning from correctional facilities. In addition, it must describe how the LEA will coordinate existing education programs to meet the unique educational needs of children and youth. The LEA must also provide how it will coordinate with existing social, health, and other services to meet the needs of students returning from correctional facilities, including prenatal health care and nutrition services, parenting and child development classes, child care, targeted reentry and outreach programs, referrals to community resources, and flexibility. To continue, an LEA must collaborate with the Neglect and Delinquent Facility to also provide partnerships of institutes of higher education and local businesses which facilitate post-secondary and workforce success for those children and youth returning from correctional facilities, such as credit-bearing coursework, enrollment in post-secondary education, participation in career and technical education, and mentoring services. The LEA must also collaborate to involve parents and family engagement within the local facility. Provide the coordination of federal and state and local programs in written form. The LEA must provide a description of coordination with the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act of 1974, if applicable. Provide a description of coordination and collaboration with probation officers to assist children and youth. The LEA must provide a written description of efforts to ensure correctional facilities are aware of the child's existing individualized education programs, and provide a description of steps the district will take to find alternative placements for children and youth interested in continuing their education but unable to participate in a traditional public school program. The LEA is required to describe how the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program will involve parents and family members to improve the educational achievement of their children, assist in dropout prevention activities, and prevent the involvement of their children in delinquent activities when feasible. Here I am highlighting two web resources that are specific to parent and family engagement of those students who are in neglected and delinquent facilities. Region 16 provides statewide information and resources on Title I Part D parent and family engagement. The National Technical Assistance Center for the Education of Neglected and Delinquent Children and Youth provides family and community engagement for students who are in neglected and delinquent facilities as well. Title I Part D Subpart 2 does not have a supplement, not supplant requirement. As an LEA determines the allowable use of funds, it must look at what is reasonable and necessary, the comprehensive needs assessment, evaluation on student achievement, the EDGAR requirements, and its district policies and procedures. A few selected Title I Part D Subpart 2 recommended uses are programs that serve children and youth returning to local schools from correctional facilities and assist in the transition program services. Dropout prevention programs serving at-risk children and youth. Coordination of health and social services for youth to improve likelihood of youth completing education. Special educations programs to meet unique academic needs, including career and technical education, special education, career counseling, curriculum-based youth entrepreneurship education, and financial aid assistance for post-secondary education. Mentoring and peer mediation programs. Title I Part D Subpart 3 discusses the requirements for program evaluation. In conducting each evaluation under ESSA Section 1431, an LEA shall use multiple and appropriate measures of student progress. Each LEA must submit evaluation results of the Title I Part D programs to the TEA. The annual data would be reported on the TEA Compliance Report. This compliance report includes demographic and educational data of students in neglected and delinquent programs. Each LEA must use the results of evaluations to plan and improve subsequent programs for participating children and youth. More information regarding Title I Part D program evaluations may be found in the program guide. Upon certification and submission of the ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant Application, LEAs certify that they will comply with all federal requirements noted in statute. All requirements can be found in the program-specific provisions and assurances posted on the TEA Grant Opportunities page. To monitor the federal compliance of each eligible entity receiving ESSA funds, TEA conducts an annual validation process for LEAs. The annual validation process for LEAs addresses the statutory requirements based on program implementation and effectiveness for the current grant year. The Federal Fiscal Monitoring Division is responsible for monitoring the expenditures of federal grant subrecipients to ensure federal funds are used for authorized purposes in compliance with federal statutes, regulations, and the terms and conditions of federal awards. The ESSA Consolidated Compliance Report is completed by LEAs annually to document that LEAs complied with the program-specific provisions and assurances in the previous application year. LEAs are responsible for indicating the sources of documentation used to establish compliance. The documentation is to remain on file at the LEA. However, it must also be readily available upon request from the Texas Education Agency for audit and/or validation monitoring purposes. Now I will discuss a few resources that will be helpful for LEAs serving neglected and delinquent children. First, you may access the TEA Resources page for Title I Part D, the Prevention and Intervention Programs for Children and Youth who are neglected, delinquent, or at risk. You may also use these links to review the TEA Federal Program Compliance, more information about Title I Part D, Subpart 2, as well as the Subpart 2 Program Guide, and the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. A few USDE resources for Title I Part D are listed below. You may click on the link for additional information from the U.S. Department of Education regarding neglected and delinquent programs, the legislation, regulations, and guidance, as well as the USDE's contractor, the National Technical Assistance Center for the Education of Neglected or Delinquent Children and Youth webpage. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, additional flexibilities in the administration of federal grant programs is likely to be issued by the U.S. Department of Education. Any additional flexibility for the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program that is available to LEAs related to COVID-19 will be provided on TEA's Grant Compliance and Administration page. For additional information and questions, you may reach the Federal Program Compliance Division's Program Contact. Geraldo Ramirez is the Title I Part D contact. You may reach him at 512-463-9499 or email him at essa support@tea.texas.gov. Thank you and have a wonderful day.